Did you know that 10% of the life insurance agents write over 90% of the business? That's right, guys. And this is mainly due to the mindset that this top 10% of life insurance agents have. I'm Doug Massi, and in today's video, I'm going to give you some actionable advice that can literally take you from being like an average and or struggling life insurance agent to becoming a top producer, potentially immediately. So let's start by giving the video a thumbs up, and we do suggest subscribing if you're new to the channel. We're putting out insurance sales content and life insurance sales training videos just like this bad boy all the time. A big part of why very few agents succeed at such a high level is due to mental programming. Now, guys, this is different than mindset. And before I get into it, if you'd like a copy of the free new agent Telesales super file along with the Telesales presentation script, so we're talking sales materials you'll absolutely want for selling life insurance products over the phone, along with the presentation. Just stick around till the end of the video. I'm going to show you how to get both of these for yourself. Allow me to describe what I mean by mental programming, how it happens naturally, and then I'm going to share exactly what you can do to turn it around, to reprogram yourself to actually think and behave like I do and like all the highest producing life insurance agents in the country think and behave. So here you are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, however old that you are. You've already been programmed to think that most successful people do specific certain things and kind of follow the pack, maybe college or, something like that. You've been programmed to think that if you do certain things that you'll end up in a certain career because you did those things and will earn the right amount of money that you'll need to have a decent life and potentially lucrative career. Hang on with me. Unfortunately, this is actually a huge fail for a huge majority. Getting into debt, for example, to earn $60,000 a year, does not work. Going to college for years so that you can get a degree. Meanwhile, you're kind of being programmed by the stuff that's going on in society. That's the only way to describe it. To think certain things that are really not very accurate. Meanwhile, you're going to college. And all that combination along with those specific things really just makes it worse. Bottom line, if you are not earning at least $100,000 per year right now, last year you did it, the year before that, you are most likely completely failing at life financially. We're talking about financially. And you're basically on the way to a miserable way of living and or future, no matter how old you are at this point. There is no way that you're going to have a decent retirement at the rate that you're going. And if you've got a family, even worse. Your family is, I hate to say it, but statistically speaking, is most likely in even more danger of having it a lot worse than what you have it. It's the opposite the way it used to be. My dad, he did all these things to set things up for me so I had a better life and it worked. That's not how things are today. It gets even worse. Now, let me explain. Just hang in there for me. Don't shoot the messenger. I need to address other ways of programming that you have going against you. And yes, it's whether you've been to college or not. Remember, that was just an example. You've still been programmed by your surroundings to think this specific way. Let's go over your personal experience, which has programmed you to think that, things are a specific way. And the problem with that is, the things that you've done got you to where you're at, and this is likely not going to change. How much money did you make last year? The year before? The year before that? However much money you are used to making, we all want more, right? That's human nature. The main fail is that your own personal experiences, year after year after year, have taught you that you probably will just make the same amount of money that you're used to making, and that there really isn't much you can do to change that, even if you're doing what you think is everything possible to change that. And even though you and I both know this is false, because it's just a programming, You know, you're still programmed to think and behave a certain way due to the mental programming of your past experiences. A last example, I speak with agents every single day who have been with multiple life insurance agencies. They've been trying to be successful for years. They switch from one agency to another over and over and over, thinking, okay, maybe this is it. The grass is going to be greener on this side. They usually think that there's going to be, you know, that something different or special with this next agency. They're hoping for that. This is going to be that lead that's going to be different. Here's the fail. Even though they think that things could be better with the new agency, their past experiences of moving to a different agency has programmed them to internalize that it probably won't make a difference. And that's kind of true. Bottom line, it most likely won't make a difference because the only thing that really needs to change is how you think and behave. If things didn't work out the way you had hoped that they would at the last agency you were at, this is most likely, well, because you didn't do the necessary things, the exact way they needed to be done, and you didn't copy what the best agents, the successful agents were doing at that agency. Now, maybe you think you did, but statistically, almost everybody makes certain little changes that they think is going to help them, and it actually completely goes against them. So, step number one, you have to accept that the first thing that needs to change is you, okay? That person you're seeing in the mirror. You got to change your thinking. It's not working for you. It hasn't worked for you. It's got you where you're at today. Your best thinking has you sitting watching this stupid video. You got to change your behaviors and activities. They haven't been working either. You got to reprogram yourself despite yourself. Now that you're starting to accept that you're the problem that needs to be fixed, step number two, here are 3 things that you can do every single day to change the direction of your future. Number 1, do some type of activity to increase your heart rate every single day for maybe 20 to 30 minutes each day. Fast walking, exercise, anything to increase the heart rate. Number 2, get into meditation and do it every day. Start with like just 2 minutes and work your way up to 10 minutes each day. If you don't silence your mind, the next step will not be nearly as effective. Do at least 10 hours of work each day, 5 to 6 days per week, and nothing less. When I say work, I mean the activity that you do to earn money. This is something that's messed up. I believe if everybody in the United States were to learn how to make $1,000 an hour, 90% of those people would work 2 hours a week. That's got to change. Okay, that's how most people think. If you think that this is too much and that your life doesn't allow for you to do, the 50 to 60 hours of work each week, you are absolutely the reason for your failures and nothing else. You're looking for something that doesn't exist long term, and you're the reason for the failures. Period. Accept it. It's your thinking that's why you're in this position. Not your situation with your ex-spouse, not your situation with your children, your housing, not your situation with your bad investments or bad choices, not your parents. You got to accept it. It's an internal thing. It's you. You're the problem. You need to change. If you're a life insurance agent, you should be calling leads or door knocking for like those 10 hours every day. Yes, this is very difficult for most people, even though it's actually pretty simple. You got 24 hours in a day. Don't you dare tell me that you can't put less than half of that time into your livelihood and future. By forcing yourself to do the activities for like 50 to 60 hours per week, you are forcing yourself to get better each and every single day. That's what we're doing. We're retraining ourselves. And by forcing yourself to do the activities for at least 50 to 60 hours per week, you're forcing yourself to make sales that you normally would not have made. By forcing yourself to do the activities for at least 50 to 60 hours per week, you are reprogramming yourself to internalize strong work ethic, which is going to be the key to your success. And by forcing yourself to do the activities for at least 50 to 60 hours per week, you are reprogramming yourself to think the way that successful people think and not the way that you've been thinking. in the way that 90% of the people in the country think, which is what led you to be in this position that you're in today. 10 minutes a day of meditation, 30 minutes a day of exercise, 10 hours a day of work. Block out the noise and stop making excuses. If you're not earning at least $100,000 per year while you're living in this country, in the United States, that's kind of like walking into a grocery store only to end up dying of starvation an hour later. For a copy of the free New Agent Telesales Superfile, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. If you'd like more information on our remote final expense sales platform, just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there and whatever happens, just make sure that you do something good for someone else today. Happy hunting.